Hello! This video I'm going to be talking about monopoly. So I've already done perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly. The next couple of videos I'm going to be finishing monopoly and essentially finishing all the diagrams in microeconomics. So now I can move on to macro. So before we continue, please press the like button, please subscribe, consider becoming a member, share this video with your friends. All right, let's talk about monopoly. What are the characteristics of the monopoly market structure? Number one, there's one dominant firm. Number two, this firm produces a unique product. There are no close substitutes. Number three, there are very high barriers to entry. So because it's a one dominant firm, it is a price maker. So it produces output where MR equals MC. All firms, by the way, whether they're price makers or price takers, we assume that they produce the profit maximizing output, which is where MR equals MC. But because it's a price maker, its AR and its MR are not the same. Remember, in perfect competition, the AR and the MR are the same curve. But in monopoly, they are split. The AR curve is the demand curve that the firm is responding to, and the MR curve is twice as steep. So the monopolist will produce the output where MR intersects MC. That's the profit maximizing condition. So the monopolist will produce QE, this output here, and then you have to go up to see where it intersects the average cost curve. Right here is the average cost. And then you continue going up to the AR to see what the average revenue or the price will be. This is the price right there. Okay? Now, in this case, because the price or the average revenue is higher than the average cost, that means the monopolist is making an abnormal profit. So when AR is greater than AC at the profit maximizing output, which is QE in the diagram, okay? That means the monopolist is making an abnormal profit. So remember, when PE or AR is greater than AC at QE, the profit maximizing output, there's an abnormal profit. Also, remember the allocative efficiency condition is AR is equal to MC. So this is where AR intersects MC. This is, we'll call this QAE. Okay, that's the allocatively efficient output. Since what the monopolist actually produces, which is QE, is less than what it should be producing from society's point of view, QAE, there is allocative inefficiency or a welfare loss, and this triangle here is the welfare loss triangle. All right, so this is basically the situation of abnormal profit. Now let's see what the other two scenarios are. Okay, so I said there are three scenarios or three outcomes. I've already done the abnormal profit outcome or scenario. This happens when at QE, which is the profit maximizing output, this is the output where MR intersects MC. At QE, you go up, you see where it intersects AC, then this is the AC. You go up and you see where it intersects the AR. This is the AR or PE basically. Okay, remember, price and AR are the same thing because price is total revenue divided by quantity and average revenue is total revenue divided by quantity. Okay, so when the average cost is lower, than the average revenue or the price at QE, there's an abnormal profit. When the average cost is higher than the price or the average revenue at the profit maximizing output, there's a loss. So if you have a look at scenario C right here, at QE, which is where MR intersects MC, you go up, you get the average revenue, that's the price, PE, but then you have to keep going up to get the average cost. The average costs are too high. Because the average cost is higher than the average revenue, there's a loss, and it's this rectangle right here. Okay? And then there's the scenario of there being a normal profit. Okay? This happens, as you can see, at QE, which is the point where MR intersects MC. At QE, it just so happens that at this point, the average cost is tangent to the average revenue. So at QE only, here, it just so happens that PE, or the average revenue, and the AC, the average cost, are the same. This is the normal profit scenario. The key thing to remember here is that the monopolist has high barriers to entry, which means if there is any abnormal profit, the monopolist can maintain this abnormal profit into the long run, okay? Because no competitors can enter the market to compete with the monopolist. If there is a loss, the monopolist has to figure out a way to either lower their AC, lower their average cost, or increase demand for their product, increase their AR, okay? Generally, the idea is that monopolists are after a really high abnormal profit, and they build those barriers to entry, or they erect those barriers to entry to prevent competitors from entering the market and taking away from their abnormal profit. Okay, so this is monopoly. In the next video, I'm going to do natural monopoly, which is a sort of a video on its own. I hope you enjoyed this video. You found it useful. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a member. You can leave a super thanks. That's also another thing you can do. And I hope you have a great IB economics journey. Bye.